What's up, gamers? Today we have a very exciting topic philosophy, one of my favorite topics to talk about. How are we going to be talking about it? We are going to be talking about it through by ranking them in a tier list. Now, you may be wondering what is the criteria of ranking? The criteria is that how useful they are as coping mechanism when you have a disability such as mine, hemiplegia. My one hand and one my leg is not working. Half of my body is paralyzed. It's called hemiplegia. I had a stroke a few months back. And which of the philosophy helped me most to cope in this situation is going to be the best. Now, I used to believe in multiple philosophies such as Stoicism, Absurdism, and I'm going to be ranking them, which were the most effective when I had a stroke. And let's starting with Stoicism.
The darling of tech bros everywhere, actually survives harsh physical reality.
I know, half of you philosophy fans just tensed up. Deep breaths, just bear with me here.
Because on paper, the foundational pitch of Stoicism sounds absolutely flawless, practically foolproof, right? The core rule is delightfully simple. Just divide the entire messy world into two neat, tidy boxes. You can't control massive neural damage, but supposedly you control your inner vibe. Sounds super easy, right? Well, let's shift to grim reality. I looked at my paralyzed left hand and commanded it to move. Nothing happened. Turns out, acute neurological damage doesn't really care about your Roman emperor quotes. Stoicism's entire grand architecture rests heavily on one massive assumption: completely owning your own will.
It blindly trusts there's a fully functional connection between your brain's intention and its physical execution.
But what exactly happens when your own flesh officially unsubscribes from your brain's mailing list?
During a severe physical crisis, that magical line of control isn't just frayed, it's completely severed.
Imagine the utter, agonizing futility of forcing your iron will onto a completely dead limb. Shockingly, aggressively applying ancient Greek mindsets to paralyzed flesh doesn't magically conjure up inner peace. Instead, the actual result is just a grinding, exhausting mental friction, a literal system crash.
Funny how the loudest guys in the Marcus Aurelius fan club conveniently gloss over this glitch.
Which brings us to our undeniable verdict. Stoicism gets a solid tier D for neurological crises. It's great for traffic jams, sure, but when your actual body breaks, your philosophy probably shouldn't. Today, we're ranking Camus' absurdism on our entirely flawless philosophical tier list. You know the vibe. Imagine Sisyphus happy. The struggle is the reward. Aw, how beautifully poetic. Cute thought, right? But here's a massive spoiler alert for you guys. Sisyphus had two working legs. And we aren't doing cute metaphors right now. We mean that completely, 100% literally. See, this grand cosmic rebellion requires physical defiance. You need actual leverage, a spine, and working legs. Which means this whole cosmic rebellion thing is, frankly, just a luxury for the able-bodied. Because when you're physically trapped inside the universe's sick joke, forcing a laugh isn't exactly deep philosophy. Telling someone to just smile and push the rock anyway is brutally, wildly unhelpful. So our verdict is C tier. It sounds lovely on paper, but it's completely stranded in an able-bodied reality. Which leaves us with this fun little question. Does philosophy only work when your body actually does?
Let's see what actually survives when your fragile biological hardware inevitably betrays you. Spoiler alert, that trendy morning routine isn't going to save you during a total neurological collapse. When reality bites, only a few ancient S-tier frameworks are actually built different enough to survive. Meet the heavyweights. Ibn Rushd's Averroist's rationality cleanly divorces your pristine intellect from your decaying biology.
Then there's Tawakkul. It's a profound, genuine surrender to a divine order you literally can't control anyway.
And Wu Wei, leaning into complete non-action. Just stop fighting the current and float, man. So why do these thrive while your precious modern coping mechanisms immediately burn to the ground? Because, quite frankly, they refuse to tie your worth or peace to a functioning meat sack.
The Averroist split is beautifully cynical.
Your body is just a fragile vessel undergoing a brutal trial. Meanwhile, your intellect remains whole, untouched, and utterly indifferent to your physical paralysis. Pretty neat, right?
With Tawakkul, peace stops being something you desperately try to force with some expensive breathing app. It's a peace that was already there. No contest. These are absolute S-tier survival tools.
But hey, let's look at the catch, because obviously the universe demands a massive, unforgiving one. Here is the brutal reality of this philosophical audit. You can't build a shelter mid-hurricane.
You absolutely cannot download Stoic acceptance or Tawakkul on the fly during an active panic attack. These frameworks demand a genuine, pre-existing relationship built years before your life actually falls apart.
So no, the takeaway isn't to frantically start speed-reading medieval Islamic philosophy right this second.
A lifelong believer doesn't install emergency software when their body suddenly goes offline. They don't panic.
They poured their mental concrete decades ago. Now, they just get to rest in the shelter. The blueprints exist, but let's be honest.